All right, my friends, good evening. Welcome. This will be a live test of the brand new Linux Mint. I believe this is number 22. Now, this will not be a full install. This will be running it off a live USB stick, but I've had so much good luck with Linux Mint in the past and some others that I think this will be okay. I don't think I will have to do a full install test for Linux Mint. Now, if you don't know already, Linux Mint is right up there, my top 3 Linux-based systems for beginners. I also like Zorn OS and, of course, the Chrome OS and the fantastic Chromebooks. So this will just be like an overview, not so much a full review. Just to take a quick look at this, I have my wine. I am relaxed. And yeah, so let's go take a look at this. So what I did with this, I'll show you here in a second. I did install OBS Studio for the live chat to stream this. So let's see here. Alright, so let's go ahead and transition. Those of you watching this, we should be good now running OBS Studio. And okay, so far so good. Alright, this is the Mate version. This is my favorite version of Linux Mint. I've always liked the Mate version of Linux Mint, really ever since the beginning. The terrific, what is this? The Mint menu. The terrific Mint menu. Just a solid menu. It always works, easy to use. If you've never used Linux before, or maybe if to you Linux means it's okay. This is easy, right up there with Chromebooks. And I think you will like this. Okay. The default desktop. Let's go ahead. I've always liked the little applets. So let's go to, let's see. Add to panel. We'll search weather. I'm going to add the weather. And let's go ahead and do, hopefully this will work. Running this off a live USB. So for this, we'll just type in, let's see, Pittsburgh International Airport. Hopefully this will work. And it looks like the weather applet is working. This is probably the best implementation of a weather applet service I've ever tested in any Linux Mint. Just simple, easy to read, as you see here. Nothing fancy. It just works. So let's see. Rest of the night, thunderstorms. Thursday, I want to go swimming tomorrow. Oh, slight chance of thunderstorms. Okay, moving along. All right, the panel at the bottom here. As I said, I did install OBS Studio. Right-click to sound preferences, the usual. Nothing out of the ordinary here, and I don't expect anything unusual. Right-click. Let's go to terminal. Let's try, let's see, NeoFetch. And Linux Mint 22, running this in a Dell Optiplex 7010. Definitely outdated, but hey, still works. Oh, let's see, kernel 6.8.0. Okay, Mint, Mate version 1.26.1. That works fine. The usual shortcuts here to the top. And of course, right-click to change the wallpapers. Let's see if anything catches my eye here on a wallpaper. I think I'll just leave it the way it is for now. Okay, some shortcuts here at the bottom to the left. File Manager. I've always liked the use of the default fonts, colors, and the white space. Firefox is installed by default. Why don't we go ahead and just take a look at the software that's installed here again. This is my first look. I don't expect any major changes. Let's go to, and you can switch back and forth between favorites and all applications. So let's go to all applications, accessories, see if anything catches my eye here. I did use the USB image writer to create the bootable stick. Let's go to graphics. All right, nothing unusual here. The internet, Firefox is okay. I prefer Chrome and or Brave. Now the Matrix online chat, I believe this is fairly new. Matrix is a form of real-time internet chat. It is primarily used by Linux Mint users to ask questions and help each other. Connect to Matrix. Okay, very good. Hang on, I need another sip of wine here. One moment. All right, where were we? Internet. Okay. Thunderbird Mail, terrific email client. This is the one I use all the time. When you guys donate to the channel, this is how I get the notifications. All right. Office, the LibreOffice suite, always works for me. Sound and video. I did install VLC. VLC was not installed by default. It should be. It's probably the best music player, graphics, media player for both Windows. Linux, Rhythmbox is great. Also, Hypnonics, Watch TV, and Celluloid OBS Studio are installed. All right, very good. System tools, boot repair is still in here. Very good. Let's take a look at the system monitor. All right, so we have CPU usage is rather low for the most part, it looks like. Memory 3.1 gigs, running this off a USB stick seems a little high, but that sounds about right considering we are live and not a full install. So yeah, so far so good. All right, let's continue here. Let's see, anything else catches my eye? No. Administration, backup tool, printers, and software man. We'll take a look at the software manager here in a moment. Let's see here under preferences, appearance, Bluetooth adapters, Compass is still there. And anything unusual here? Let's go to the startup applications. This is where you can disable stuff if you want to speed up the boot process. Probably I wouldn't use Blue Man Applet, Mint Welcome. I don't have NVIDIA. Yeah, all right, simple stuff there. All right, let's go to the let's actually go to favorites. Let's go to the software manager. Let's see how that works. Now again, this is actually pretty fast, but this should run even faster as a full install. The software manager, again, a Flatpak support is enabled by default. Let's see, what shall we install? Let's go to Internet. Let's install a different web browser. What is available here? Is Chromium here? Yeah, oh yeah, it's right here. Chromium. And looks like this will be a system package, not a Flatpak. That's okay. Install. We'll let that install and we'll see how this works. And the latest Linux Mint, one of the best. Let's launch. Yeah, we can, I guess I can do a temporary password for now. Although this will be erased once I'm done with this. Wow, I can't believe how fast this is running off a USB stick. Damn, Linux Mint, you guys are fast. Let me tell you. All right, let's try searching my dad's music, see what pops up here. Salvatore Pate. Let's see if it comes up. And yeah, Salvatore Pate music. These are tunes that my dad was sending me from his music vault from Italy during the pandemic. I didn't see him for almost 4 years during the pandemic lockdown, and my dad was getting bored. Anyway, if you want to check out some tunes and support the channel, just go to salvatorepate.bandcamp.com. Some romantic tunes here. These two tunes here to the right with the cross and star. That's taken directly from his movie that we're still looking for a distributor. Hopefully sometime soon in the future. Man, it's been a long journey. You can check out these wonderful romantic Italian tunes. But yeah, this thing is just zipping along, man. Wow. Off a USB stick. The power of Linux, my friends. This is running almost as fast as my Chromebook. In fact, just as fast. I am impressed. Yeah, it just works. Linux Mint, you know, Zorn Chromebooks, they just work. And that's the beauty of all this stuff with Linux. If you haven't tried Linux yet, really you should. All right, let me grab some more wine here. I'll go into the chat, see if anybody's here. Give me a second. All right, I am in the chat looking at the chat. If anybody's here wants to say hello, please do. If not, then we'll wrap it up. Again, this is just a quick overview for Linux Mint, not a full review. I've done these many times before for Linux Mint. It just works. It really is one of the best in the world. It really, since my first look at this many moons ago, it's never let me down. You know, back in the past, Ubuntu may have been my favorite. Now it's not even on my list anymore. So disappointing with Ubuntu. But Linux Mint gets the job done without any surprises, which is why I love me some Mint. I love red wine. Sweet red wine. Maybe I should make a glass of wine and toss some mint leaf or something. Maybe that'll work, right? I don't know. All right. Well, we have somebody in the chat. Carter Bing. Bada bing. Good evening to you, sir. How are you for this evening? It is great to have you here. Carter, are you new to the chat? If you are, welcome. Are you a Linux Mint user or something else? It's okay if you use something else. That's perfectly fine. Okay, you have been here before. Very good. Welcome aboard this evening's chat. Yeah, this has just been a first look at the latest Linux Mint. Running this off a USB stick, and I have to say, I'm impressed how fast this thing runs on a USB stick on a outdated PC now. I mean, wow. Oh, you're using a 2012 Mac Mini, really? Wow, okay. Why not? I think the computer I have here is probably around the same age, if I had to guess, Carter. So, hey, if it works, use it, right? The best OS is the one that works for you, correct? Of course. Yes, sir. It does work like a charm. Yeah, I have Linux Mint installed on 2 machines, on my Dell for this evening's show and on an older Lenovo that originally had Windows 7. I believe it's 2011. It's outdated, but it works. So I'm keeping these machines for now for a little bit longer than I wanted to. I have other things going on. Been shopping for a car for my son ever since he blew the engine on his Lexus driving it with a bad water pump. I've mentioned that before, and I hate shopping for cars, Carter. It's so time consuming. And my son says, Dad, I'm sorry, I'll never do that again. Well, I know you won't, because now you don't have a car. But I digress. But yeah, this does work like a charm. It is superb. I mean, absolutely just, as I those of you watching this, the transitions here on OBS are just so smooth, and I mean, yeah, I know I'm repeating myself, but it just works. So what can I say? Excellent piece of, man, I can't believe how zippy this is, but it just works. Yeah, the welcome screen for Mint, Linux Mint, you really should be using this if you are new to all this. This will help speed things up, the learning curve. And the learning curve for this shouldn't be that hard, but yeah, it's just solid. What can I say? You use the computer to stream sometimes. Okay. One thing I've noticed about some older computers, sometimes the stream will buffer, so I had to drop down the resolution. I don't think I could do this in 4K. I don't think the CPU could keep up. but it's good enough for this. So yeah. Let's try. Let's transition here. Let's try some simple terminal commands and nothing too scary for Windows users. Let's type in neo fetch. This will give you information. Again, I've shown you this before, but neo fetch, and this will give you the information about your PC and what you have installed. Let's try sudo apt update. Now again, to update your system, you don't have to do it like this, obviously. I'm just showing you that it's not hard. Again, this is not a full install, so yeah, this will work fully after a full install. But let's say I wanted to install, let's try sudo apt install Audacious. Probably my favorite lightweight music player. And press Y to continue. Again, you don't have to do it this way through the terminal. A lot has changed over the years, Windows users. This is just an example how to install software. You can install it through the software manager. So once that is installed, if you go to all applications, I know it's under sound and video. And there it is, Audacious. Man, this thing is fast. Look how fast this boots. This starts. All right. Well, I don't have any tunes here, so it's not showing anything. But this is just an example of how to install a piece of software in Linux Mint. Wow, this is running smooth, and I think the stream is pretty smooth also. Right? Yeah. Go to preferences on the time. I believe there's 12-hour format instead of 24. There we go. It's not the right time, obviously. It's not 2:49 a.m. again. I haven't installed this yet, so. But just to show you how this works, yeah, it's just it's nice to have something with no surprises, right? Let's see. Rossi Spiller is in the house. Long time no see. Late night tutorial. Good evening. Yeah, not so much of a tutorial, but just a quick overview for the latest for Linux Mint. Again, it's on my top 3, right up there with Zorn and Chromebooks for beginners to Linux. They just work just like this. Always a pleasure to use Linux Mint. There are, what are there, 3 versions, 4 versions? The XFCE version, the Mate version, Debian version, Cinnamon version, I believe. I've always preferred the Mate version. Always loved the Mint menu. XFCE is, I believe, slightly lighter, and I've really tried them all, Cinnamon and Debian. They all work, but for beginners, for beginners, there's something about the Mate menu. It's a throwback to Ubuntu, what Ubuntu was before they switched to the horrible GNOME desktop, in my opinion. Let's try some different wallpaper for the fun of it. Let's see. Let's do that one. Well, that looks peaceful, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. And so does this. Or this. That looks very peaceful. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Let's look at the software manager again. Show installed applications. And I would be correct. This is what I just installed. The Terminator. Multiple GNOME terminals. Thank you, Arnold. Bah. Uh, Sometimes I actually have installed Pulse effects, audio effects for Pulse Audio just for fun. I have played with that. Let's click sound and video. Of course, VLC, one of the best. I've messed with Clementine before. XF Burner I have used in the past. Excel I've used in the past. Cheese for your webcam. Picard, Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek. It's probably a different Picard, right? The sound juicer. Kazam I haven't used in such a long time. Ripper X I've used in the past to rip music off CDs way back when. Of course, I've installed OBS Studio. Milky Tracker, interesting name. Music creation tool, okay. Brasero I use occasionally. Let's see, what else do we have here? For a second, I thought this said Aerosmith, but it's Amp-Synth. I don't know why I was thinking of Aerosmith. Yeah. Some of these names. Squeeze Light. Sounds like an orange juice. Okay, I think you get the picture here. Very nice, easy to use. The software manager, the default software manager for Linux Mint. Very nice. Okay, let's see here. Looking at your live shows because you gave me a recommendation of Chromebook Plus, but what brand? Okay, Rossi. Yeah. I don't have the Plus. I have the, what do I have? The Lenovo. Oh, Michael, thank you so much for the donation for the live stream. Thank you so much, sir. I will use that for Dunkin' Donuts tomorrow. Thank you. My coffee. Well, welcome, Michael. I know it's been a while. I hope things are well with you. The stream is like butter. It is smooth, isn't it? And I could probably give me a second here, but I could highlight the chat here on the live stream. As far as the recommendation for a Chromebook, Lenovo is good, or in this case, Chromebook Plus. I have a Lenovo. I have an older Acer. It really is outdated. I mean, it works, but can't do much with it. So probably if I was to buy a new one, I would look at Lenovo Rossi for a Chromebook Plus. My guess is no matter what brand you buy, the Chromebooks Plus have a minimum minimum hardware standard. So they all should work pretty much the same. What it comes down to is, do you want, a touchscreen, a 2-in-1, stuff like that. But I think probably if I was to buy a new one, I would look at Lenovo or Acer. As long as it says Chromebook Plus, those are the newest ones. And I would look for something on sale on Amazon too. Yeah, Rossi says, never seen Linux so zippy. Michael, to answer your question, do I use the Mate version in real life, as it were? You mean as a full install? Yes, sir, I do. I absolutely do. On multiple machines. If I'm not using Linux Mint, I'm going to be on my Chromebook. Of course, my cell phone most of the time. I do have a Lenovo ThinkPad with Windows 11 that's pretty zippy also, that I bought used. It's a 5-year-old one, but works pretty good so far. Can't complain. But yes, I do use Linux Mint Mate as a full install. Michael says, using an Asus Chromebook Plus, nice, but had to go on the cheap. Yeah, hey, look for sales. Look for the lowest price ones. Even the lowest price. Here's the thing about these new Chromebooks Plus. No matter what you spend, you can get a refurb for $200 or less sometimes. If it says Chromebooks Plus, you're going to get a minimum 10 years of support, no matter what you spend, from what I understand. That's not bad, right, Michael? That's not bad in nowadays, with inflation and everything. That's not bad. Anyway, I think I've seen Chromebooks Plus when they were first released. They started about $400, but you can get. I've seen the prices dropped to maybe $329 for a Chromebook Plus, maybe less. Michael, not bad. I think Chromebooks hit their stride during the pandemic when they outsold Macs. Uh, I think that pretty much says it all, guys, right? Who knew? Who knew that the somewhat lonely Chromebook, which isn't lonely anymore, would outsell MacBooks? All right, let me transition here. So again, this is the desktop. Let's see, can we do a split screen here? I guess we can do that. There you go. OBS to the right, the chat to the left. Michael says the support may outlive you. No, sir. Don't say that. Although 10 years is pretty good, I will say that. Um, all right, Ross, you purchased an iPad Air M2, used all the Google service. However, I needed a video editing app and cellular data. Aha. Yeah, I don't really use Apple products. Nothing against them. I just don't need them. I have an older first generation iPad mini that the sucker still works. I'll give Apple credit, the solid products, but not much I can do with it. The video editing I use for Linux is Kden Live. And then, of course, pretty much stick with Linux Mint for now. Windows 11, which seems to be okay for me, or my Chromebook. I wish Chromebooks had their version of Kden Live and OBS Studio. They don't, at least not yet. The machines are certainly capable of it, but nothing there yet. Yours is i5 12th gen with 16 gigs of memory. Yeah, it's 569. Okay, all right, very good. Yeah, the used ThinkPad I bought, and by the way, ThinkPads and Linux Mint, good marriage, if you have time to install and tinker. But the ThinkPad I bought, I believe, is an i7, 8 gigs of memory. With the new battery, I paid about $200, maybe a little bit less. And it appears that the 8 gigs of RAM is enough for Windows 11. I haven't tried live streaming it yet with OBS, but I think 8 gigs of RAM should be enough with a fresh, debloated install of Windows 11. And I'm sure Linux would work on it too. But yeah, 16 gigs should be plenty nowadays for most folks. Linux Mint, I believe it has been around since around 2008, if I'm not mistaken. Linux Mint was the second, I believe the second one I used extensively installing after Ubuntu. From there I went to, let's see, Zorin in 2011, 12, somewhere on there. And I was kind of shuffling back and forth, back and forth. In 2016, I settled on Ubuntu. I thought the Unity desktop had just almost peaked, almost. And then, of course, in 2017, Ubuntu says, forget about it, no more Unity. We're going to go with the GNOME desktop. Well, sorry, not for me. No more Ubuntu for me. So I went back to my Linux Mint and my Zorins and Chrome OS and all that. But yeah, Linux Mint, they have a good team, solid team. Those of you might remember the original Ubuntu with the classic menu application places system. Do you remember that? I think some of you do, but this is how it used to be. And this was my very first date with Linux. Hard to believe, back in 2006, man, time flies. But yeah, you can still add this simple menu to Linux Mint if you prefer this versus the Mint menu. I just like the Mint menu personally, but this is okay. And if you want to remove this, you just right-click Remove from the panel. But I've always liked these little shortcut applications, little applets as they call it. Just simple, easy to add, nothing fancy. A set of eyeballs for your panel. I'm not sure what use this would be, the eyeballs, but I guess if you're bored. Anyway, I think it's kind of silly, but it's there. What distro is most efficient for building a mini gaming machine? Well, you're going to have to match the distro to your specs, the type of graphics card, and all that will match. I think in general, as far as multimedia gaming, I think it's tough to beat a Windows machine. That being said, if I was going to go with a gaming machine, again, I would stick with what has worked for me in the past. Linux Mint, Zorn. Let's try to think. What else? Maybe Linux Lite. Okay. Now, I'm not saying these are specific gaming distributions, but I think for those of us with a little more experience, you start with the distribution that you trust and then add from there. You know, if you're buying a graphics card, maybe do some research on what graphics card would be most compatible with this Linux and so on and so forth. For me, I would start with the distribution that I trust the most and then build it from there. There may be, if you search, then there may be some specific distributions ready to go primarily for gaming, but can you trust them for other usages other than gaming? If that makes any sense. In the past, for Linux, I have played, let's see, Supercart? Is that what it's called? Tux Racer, something like that. Oh, there was one first-person shooter. I can't remember the name. I don't play games that much anymore, to be quite honest. Can't remember, but I thought it was okay. Yeah. All right, so Broken EB says Cache OS is the latest gaming distro. All right, thank you. I'm not familiar with Cache OS personally, but yeah, I'm sure there are multiple distributions labeled such as gaming distributions out there. I think for me, after testing probably hundreds of different distributions, after a while, you just get tired of it. You know, if it felt like I was just going from bugs to bugs to bugs, I finally had to stop. And I stopped with Chromebooks, Linux Mint, Zorn, Pop! OS. I'm looking forward to the next Pop! OS with their from scratch Cosmic desktop. That should be very interesting when that one comes out. Because I guess they got tired of Ubuntu too. So, yeah. It's true about the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid. I couldn't agree more. Let's try, speaking of distributions, let's try this real. Let's go to the Chromium web browser, which I install. Let's go to, what is it, DistroWatch? Yeah, let's try this and see what we got here. So if you look here to the right, all right, so MX Linux, Mint, the top 10 here. Endeavor OS, Debian, Ubuntu, Manjaro, Fedora, Pop OS is up there, OpenSUSE, and Zorin. So we have what? Mint, Debian, Ubuntu, Pop OS, and Zorin. These are going to be either Debian-based or Ubuntu-based. I see Cache OS is number 12. Antix Linux Superfast. Garuda, I think I've looked at that before. Elementary looks like Mac. Let's see. PC Linux OS I've tested in the past. I thought was quite stable for the brief time that I tested it. Peppermint, super fast. Lubuntu, super fast. Deepin was funny. Before the install, it required a minimum of 60 gig hard drive. I thought Windows was bloated. Rocky. Hey, Rocky. Hey, Adrian. Let's see. Ubuntu Mate, another good one. So, yeah, at least on this page, there's 100 different types to choose from. And really, from what I understand, when you count the offshoots of this and the forks, there are approximately 600. Last I checked. That's a lot. And honestly, out of those hundreds, there's maybe 5 that could really compete with, with your Chromebooks, MacBooks, and the Windows machines of the world. And one of those, of course, 2 of those is going to be Mint and Pop OS and Zorin. Michael, thank you for stopping by. Be good, my friend. Catch you on the next one. And thank you for the $5 super chat, which I will use tomorrow. All right, I'll stick around for a little bit longer. It is, what time is it? It is 11:15 a.m. A little bit late, but I don't have to get up early in the morning, so I'll stick around a little bit longer. If anybody has a question or wants to say hello in the chat or something else, I'm here. Or as Arnold would say, I'm here. Come with me if you want to chat. Blah. What's that TV series I was watching last year with Arnold? Fubar. Yeah, one of my neighbors have Netflix watching Fubar. Funny. Arnold is funny. When I do a full install of this, I usually move the panel to the top. Of course, once I'm done with this, this will all be erased, but simple top, bottom, left, right, nothing, confusing here, which is why I like the Mate desktop. One of the reasons, just pure simplicity. All right, is there anything else for this evening? I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. One thing I've also liked about the menu, when you type something here in the search bar, it also searches the internet, which is pretty cool. All right, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll wrap it up for this evening. Awesome to do these random live shows when I have time. Helps me relax, and it gives me an excuse to drink some more wine, right? I'll sleep good tonight. So this has been my look at the latest Linux Mint number 22. Looks like a solid release. So Rossi said, did it ask if you wanted to install NVIDIA drivers? Yes, when you do a full install, I believe it does ask you that, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, if you're going to download a Linux distribution for gaming or whatever, I would probably do a search and see which graphics cards are going to be most compatible with, you know, which distribution that you want to use. Of course, with Windows 11, it really doesn't matter. But if you're going to do gaming, you may want to do some research first on graphics compatibility with whatever Linux you want to use. And if you really are into gaming, I would still go with Windows first if it was me, if you're really into gaming. I am not, so it doesn't matter. So it kind of simplifies my life a little bit. And but yeah, just a personal thought there. Cubed Melons just popped in. Hey, he says, hey, so how's the test going so far? Anything broken yet? The test so far, I've been on for, let me look at OBS Studio here. It's been approximately 48 minutes just chatting, and so far nothing has broken. This thing flies. It is zippy. It feels like a Chromebook. That's how zippy this feels. Now, of course, with any Linux distribution, your mileage may vary, but so far, Cubed, this is, it just works. Yeah. Thank you, Rossi. Thank you for stopping by. He says, thanks for the stream. Always a joy to be here and for these little chats. But so far, I haven't had any issues running this as a test in an outdated Dell machine. You can see on the screen everything just works. I mean, it's good stuff from Linux Mint. All right, so I think I'll wrap this up for this evening. If you guys have any questions or want to sponsor a live show or whatever, you guys know how to reach me. Let's see, is there anything else I needed to add to this? No, I don't think I do. This is a great, always a great distribution. The two next Linux-based systems I'm looking forward to testing will be the next Cosmic, or the next Pop OS with the Cosmic Desktop, because that one is from scratch, from what I understand. Then after that, hopefully the next Ubuntu would be their immutable version, which Chromebooks have perfected that. So I'm going to see if Ubuntu can live up to the quality of Chrome OS. Ubuntu immutable, that is, to the reliability of Chromebooks. Those are going to be my next 2 tests sometime in the future. All right. I think we'll wrap it up. I want to thank everybody who was able to stop by for this evening. Always a pleasure chatting with you guys. You guys know how to reach me, and have a good rest of the week, and enjoy the summer. Be safe, stay cool, and I think starting Sunday we're due for another heat wave, if I saw the weather forecast correctly. Wow, I've never seen so much brown grass in my life, but that's okay because it's less work to cut it. Yeah. All right, my friends, take care. Love all you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Ciao.